What's happening, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. Transfer talk, things going around Leeds United at the minute. There's a little bit of news, a couple of rumours as well about a couple of outgoings on loan, well, one outgoing in particular on loan. So stay tuned. Please hit a like on the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed, comment on the video below after this is done, or if you're watching a replay, leave your comments on the video. Just quick thanks as well to super thanks providers on the last video: Joel Rosa, Robert Purnell, Mr. P. Thank you for your donations on the video. Much love and appreciated. Let's have a look. Gail saying bring Ounahi in, Leeds fab player. Sam, on the other hand, says move on from Ounahi. Must be other good CMs for 25 million. Well, I'm going to talk about Ounahi. I'm going to do that after just the quick 49ers update, because I think, yeah, that's the lead in. And then we'll talk about Ounahi after. Lewis says, KG, good morning. Yeah, morning, noon, evening, night, wherever you are around the world. Doesn't matter. It's all good. And John saying, hi, pal. Hope you are. Yeah, I'm good today. Very good. All Leeds away, though, saying I'd still like to see a defender first. I'd love to see a defender too, but I don't think that's going to be on the cards. But if there is, hey, even better. But yeah, listen, let's get into it. Let's get into it, because I don't think this is going to be too long today. But David Ornstein, who for me is one of those journalists who is one that you can trust most of the time. I feel like he's got a real good hit rate, especially when it comes to news about takeovers, about breaking transfer stories. He's one of the guys that I look at and I go, wow, okay, I'm gonna go with him, because he knows what he's talking about. He's got a lot of connections. So he said basically this morning in his article on The Athletic that the 49ers were key to the Rutter deal. So it does tell you, I mean, we've all guessed, haven't we? I mean, everyone in the chat now and everyone that comments on the videos believe that the 49ers were behind the finance for it, because, you know, we know that Radrizzani doesn't have the capital to do this now. He doesn't have the funds to really take these forward, as he said so himself. So it does give you an indication. And Ornstein says, and I won't read it all. It's on The Athletic if you want to read it. But the discussions over the cost of Rutter were unexpectedly complex, running over several days. And it was going to be about who was going to pick up the bill. Leeds are owned majority by Radrizzani. In fact, the 49ers Enterprises own 40%. But they've got an option to buy us by the January 2024. But Ornstein believes that this is going to probably be done in the summer. And that makes a whole bunch of sense to me. Makes a whole bunch of sense in the fact that if Radrizzani doesn't believe he can take us any further, then it has to be this summer. That's the only thing that would make sense to me in terms of the deals that are being done. John H, the money will be coming off the final sale price. Yeah, we'll find all that out once the deal's completed. But in further as well, from Ornstein's article, the proactive role of the 49ers Enterprises in supporting the bid for Rutter and agreeing to meet future payments for him is another firm indication of a change of ownership coming. Leeds, like most clubs, structure payments to run over a new signings contract. Rutter's runs to 2028. Yeah, it's a 5.5-year deal. And it looks likely that the responsibility of meeting many of those installments will fall to the 49ers Enterprises. That is really interesting to me. And it kind of confirms suspicions that I had and many of us had, that the 49ers are in the background, you know, getting this done, making sure that Leeds United do everything they can this year to stay in the Premier League. Yeah, William Morrison wearing a 49ers hoodie during the signing. Yeah, I mean, it's not subtle, is it? Subtle as a sledgehammer over the head. But it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? You can imagine that maybe the 49ers, just to put it more out there, to even put more feelers out there that they are here, you know, in light of that. Remember that little report that was like leaked a couple of weeks ago about some Saudi investor? Maybe it's just to say, we're here and we're going to be taking this over. And I do believe, you know, when I know Ornstein says January 2024, I think it's being done in the summer, especially if we stay up, which hopefully we will. Let's have a look. Ash, can they buy us a new manager? Listen, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Gary saying 49ers KG last year made $550 million worldwide, so they're no small fish. I want to see billions, Gary. I love that. Gary is always, I always find it funny with Gary. He always spells my name with a J in the middle. Yeah, I love that. I love that. I always know it's Gary because he always puts J there. Don't change it. It's all right. Andy Horn saying, "Good evening, KG. Will they ever say on Jesse's future?" Absolutely. You've got to believe that any decisions made on the manager right now, and let's take this a week because we've got a huge week coming up, by the way, people. And a cup game against a low-end championship team that currently got no manager or just recently sacked their manager, and a home game against Brentford, it's huge. I think even if, say, Radrizzani thought it was the right option and the 49ers interject and say, actually, no, he's our guy, you got to believe that maybe he'll be here unless they both come to the agreement that he's not best for business. So it's going to be interesting, isn't it? But I do like the fact that the 49ers are involved and that we can see they're already investing. I think that's a real, real good thing. Gary, sorry, Cage. I love it. I love it. I love it. Athena saying, "Ooh, live stream." Yeah, I'm going to try and do most of it live now, Athena, because I like to whisper it now. I don't want to say it too much in case anything happens. But have you guys noticed that the connection's a lot better now? Please let me know if you noticed. I believe I've solved that problem now, and I've got a new laptop, so I believe that I'm in business now. So yeah, there should be more lives, definitely. Stephen saying, "Do I start supporting the 49ers now?" I'm not really into American football. That's one American sport that I haven't really gotten. I like a few of the personalities there, but as a team, hey, why not? Why not? Let's root for them. Let's see what they can do. Although I think everyone's going for the Buffalo Bills after that player had a heart attack on the pitch, so I think they're the people's choice this season. Uh, let's have a look. Andy Horn, though, is carrying on with the manager theme. If the 49ers are now pulling the strings, do you think we might be able to attract a Pochettino? I think that Pochettino, I've said it before, but you never say never in football, of course. But I think he's waiting for, let's say, Graham Potter doesn't pan out at Chelsea. I think he's waiting for that kind of job. I think he's looking for one of those jobs where, I mean, you've just seen Chelsea just splash out near 100 million on Mudryk out of nowhere. I think he's looking for that kind of investment. He's already done the Tottenham thing where he coached up players and made certain players better. I think he's looking for another PSG kind of job that he's just had. So, but listen, you never know. You never know what happens with new ownership. Obviously, they're already showing their ambition with the signings that they're trying to make, and we'll move on to him in just a moment. But they've already got one in Ruta. Who knows? But I do think Pochettino. I think that's just a little bit too high end. I think. All leads away talking about Gasparini. Yeah, that's my guy, man. I love Gasparini. Plays beautiful football out in Atlanta. He's got an eye for talent. He signed one of the midfielders I wish we had got for 14 million Coop Miners. Yeah, he's a real good coach. Very, very good coach. But I think I don't know if he's going to come over to England at this stage of his career. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, fantastic coach. Uh, Yeah, and listen, so that's the 49ers news. And listen, after the video's done, please put your thoughts, any thoughts that you've got in about that. But let's move on to Ounahi. And it says, James here is saying huge week for Ounahi, according to Fabrizio. And we'll talk about that. And I just want to go on to Sam's comment again, saying move on from Ounahi. There must be other good CMs for 25 million. Well, Fab's update is, let me just read it for people that haven't seen it. Azadine Ounahi deal. Leeds have to decide how to proceed with signings after spending big money on Ruta. Deal not dead, but other clubs also moving. Next week expected to be key, as Napoli offered 15 million to Angers 1 week ago. And this is the thing. I mean, there's reports in Italy saying that Napoli are impressed with the bidding war, and that they're going to be pulling out anyway. So people have kind of like said that we have now got the clear lane because Leicester can't offer the money. But there could be a situation here because what you've got to understand is, and Sam here would move on from Ounahi. There must be other good CMs for 25 mil. There definitely is, but you can see why he's wanted so much. And if you're going for somebody's trash, somebody's surplus, you probably get him in the door tomorrow, no problem. But this kid, he's a man. He's 22. Had a fantastic World Cup, but he's having a good season at a team that has got 8 points this season. That they're going to be relegated. So even though we would be the highest bidders, and we are currently, he could say, you know what, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to stay at Angers for the rest of the season, get relegated, and I'll probably have the pick of the clubs at the end of the season. And that could happen. I hope he's not listening, but that could happen. He could just say, no, I'm going to stay until the end of the season. And then his options will be wide open because it won't cost 25 million to get somebody who's at a relegated league earned club. It just won't. But if the Leeds board, if they're going to do this now and get him in, it's going to obviously have to be again in installments, as most deals are. Then that will be a big coup. It will be, because he's going to have plenty of options come the summertime, and that will show us as well as fans that how ambitious they are in terms of getting a player like this. Listen, he's in a team right now. Let me give you some context. He's in a team right now that's bottom of the league with 8 points, and he's the second best dribbler, in terms of stats, to Lionel Messi. And Liga has got plenty of great ballers. That's how good the guy is. He's got so much to his game, and I can see why we're not moving on from him yet. But what I will say to Sam is that we have to set a deadline. We have to set a deadline and say, it's only the 16th of January as we're talking today. It's only the 16th of January. So I would say, if we can't get it done by a certain day, if we give the deadline to Angers and Ounahi to say, you've got to sign by this date, if it's not done, then we need to move on to our next option. Of course we have to. But I do understand and the reasons why we're being so patient with this one, and why Ounahi's weighing up his options. It's only fair on both people. We're not trying to get somebody who's desperate for first team football, who's got no options. We're trying to get somebody who's probably looking at the summer and thinking there may be something better. But if our board can convince him, brilliant stuff. What is everybody saying about that? I mean, Righteous One here saying, get him. He's a quality player and got years in him. Yeah, and we're talking about people always complain about not being able to hold on to the ball and everything else like that. That's what he does. He will help us in that department. He will get us up the pitch and give it to our many firing forwards that we've got on the books here. So for me, I can see why we're going in for him. Marching on is saying, should say to them, look, here's the offer. After the date, it's nothing. How you doing? Keep it moving. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you've got to set a deadline. We can't. I don't think the board, yet again, I think they would have learned their lesson from the CDK saga. You've got to move on. If you can see that there's no path to getting the player, but obviously there's been talks that there is a way to do it. I think what it is with the payments, listen, we might have to offer him an 8-year contract like Chelsea have and stagger those payments, amortization and all that stuff. Might have to do that, but I think it's more of a case now of how do Leeds and 49ers build this deal and make it as long as possible, just to stagger the payments over a longer period. And listen, and also if the player has something for Angers and he like respects them a lot, or appreciates what they've done for him, he'll probably want to give Angers the best deal as well, because they're not a cash rich club. So maybe he'll want to have Angers getting 25 million in January. That would help them a lot. Rest of the season probably building up from League Two next season, because I don't think they're going to stay up with 8 points. Jack, though, is saying Ounahi isn't what our squad needs. I prefer your suggestion of Lefay. Yeah. And shout out to everyone that watched that. I really appreciate that, by the way. I do think he's something that we need, though, Jack. And at 22, again, we talk about potential, but he's currently already done it, and he's done it up against some of the best players in the world in the World Cup. So, but yeah, I mean, I can understand probably people wanting more of a defensive type of midfielder, but I would just say then it allows Adams to do what he does best. Maybe Rocker just to stay behind, and Ounahi be the one that goes forward. Maybe he can take turns with Mark Rocker. Zan Sabatini, I hope I've said that right. Shout out to you for the super chat. I'm full of optimism. Leeds are about to kick on. Well, yeah, I mean, listen, we've got to get it right on the pitch, and obviously it's more defensive things that we need to sort out. Going forward, we're more than okay, but it's about the defense going back. But I think that buying another midfielder definitely will help that. It will definitely help us be able to just keep Rocker and Adams just stay put, protect the defense, and then you've got an Ounahi that can carry the ball and do his thing. But yeah, we've got to kick on it. And buying new players like this of this quality, it definitely helps. Listen, Wolves are about to sign Sarabia, from PSG. There's teams around us that are looking to strengthen. Forest are about to complete a sign. I think they may have already signed Danilo, actually. So yeah, we're moving in the right direction, but let's get it over the line. But if not, let's go to the backup. Tom just saying Adams needs to play straight up as a straight up six and a 4-3-3. He played that way on national team and won Player of the Year for a reason. Yeah, no, he's definitely better as a holding midfielder. He does seem to have more of a license to come forward for Leeds, for whatever reason. But um, but yeah, I agree. I like what he does in terms of just cleaning up. And Snipe Dot Genius saying 8-year contracts. Snipe Dot, I had no idea that you could even sign these kind of deals. I had no idea. I thought it was literally the most you could do is six, or maybe with an extension, so 5 years, and then you can trigger a clause. But hey, Chelsea in the last two, I think it's Badashil and Mudrick. I mean, these are long term deals, but they're doing it to not massage, but to help with the FFP. So you can understand. You can understand. Cloud Dizzle, how are the Penguins doing, KJ? I don't want to talk about the Penguins, Cloud Dizzle. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. I'm getting no relief right now in sports. It's all mad. It's all mad. Uh, X Ben is saying, what's worse, KG? Our form over the past few months or the end of Bielsa form? Oh, man. I would say the Bielsa form, Ben, and that's purely on the basis of just I know that we conceding real crap goals right now, but we was getting carved open under Bielsa and getting absolutely obliterated game after game. And also as well, just in the players' body language, it wasn't good to see. You could see players that he had built up and give them a Premier League career. They quit on him. They absolutely quit on him, which for me is unacceptable. So all for that to just to say, I think that because we've been in more games under Jesse, even though we haven't won as many as we should have, I would say the final days under Bielsa were just so hard. And I just remember that February doing the match reactions and, looking back, I mean, I looked absolutely battered, man. I looked dejected. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. But but yeah, end of Bielsa, it was tough. It was tough. And you know what was tougher about it as well? Because I didn't want his legacy to end like that. I wanted him to keep us up another year and then go out in the summer like, absolutely in a blaze of glory. So again, that contributes to why that was worse. Um, and Ash, yeah, I feel like the players are still playing for Jesse, unlike Bielsa. Yeah, I still feel that they haven't quit on Jesse. They're still trying. I just don't think they're understanding whatever the message is that Jesse's trying to get across, which is also a problem. But yeah, let me just see if there's anything else on that. So that's Ounahi. So again, whether you agree or not, let me know in the comments after. Okay. Just an update as well on Gelhardt. I did put him in the title. So, Jed, actually, no, I wanted to say about Jed Spence first, actually, because a lot of you as well have been talking about a new right back as well as I, but he was in that Spurs squad against Arsenal. And if he's available on loan, oh, I would absolutely love that. He comes in straight away and plays every single game. You talk about a defender that is good at defending and attacking, that is Jed Spence. But for whatever reason, Conte is just not feeling him. Man, that would be brilliant. But listen, let's talk about our player who's possibly going out on loan, and that's Joe Gelhardt up game. Now, he's got another club link with him. We've heard Swansea, we've heard Wigan, and now it's Blackburn Rovers. Blackburn Rovers are in the hunt to get him. And for me, I want this to happen for Gelhardt. I want him to go out on loan to a championship club, a high-end one. And I see it this way as well. And this is just my opinion in terms of Gelhardt, and all leads away. Yeah, Trossard 12 million. I think that Brighton have already said you've got to offer more than that though to Spurs. So I think it will be more. But either way, I mean that relationship is done. Trossard and Brighton are absolutely done. He'll be moving, and you can see Spurs being a good landing ground. But back to Gelhardt, I would love him to go to a championship club. We already know Burnley are up. I mean, Burnley have absolutely they've smashed the league. Vincent Company has burn that league to pieces. It looks like Sheffield United are coming up second. So it's got to be, for me, I want him to go to a club where he's got a chance of promotion. And if he can get promoted, what I would do then, and this is just my opinion, please give me yours after. I would say to Leeds, let him go back to the club where he got promoted with and get Premier League first team football on loan. Let's see what he can do with a regular run of games in the Premier League on loan. That would be the ideal scenario for me. Obviously, there's a lot of factors here. Blackburn would have to win the playoffs and things like that. These are variables that you can't control. But if you can get him to a club that are in the playoff race and he comes up, just keep him out on loan another season. That would be the ideal scenario for me because again, I want to see him do more. And listen, either way, it's a win-win. It's a win-win. If he's a success, then we've got a talent, an asset that we can either play or sell on for good money. Either way, it's a success in terms of Leeds. If he doesn't do well, then send him back out on loan again and try again. You know, if at first you don't succeed, pick yourself up and try again. Shout out to Aaliyah. But yeah, that is what I would do with Gelhardt. I don't know how you guys see that, but yeah, let me know in the comments below. Ben is just saying, I wouldn't mind Sheffield coming up. We need the Yorkshire presence in the Premier League and the Derby. Yeah, I love them. I love them. And I think, you know, Sheffield United fans and Sheffield Wednesday fans, even though, you know, they really dislike each other, they would love to be in the same league again. You know, there's nothing like a derby, man. It just, there's fans, you know, we're Leeds United, aren't we? So we know what we are. But when you get like little like Barnsley fans and all these guys trying to bark up at you saying, we're better than you, we're the biggest club, we're the biggest club in Yorkshire. Like, really? Are you? Are you sure? I don't recall seeing you in a semi-final of a Champions League. I don't recall. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's good. It's good, isn't it? Those kind of fixtures are always good. You just saw it. This weekend was a perfect example, by the way. In that we had the Manchester derby, we had the North London derby, and even the East Midlands derby with Forest and Leicester. It's just different. You know, the feeling's different, isn't it? WD, just going back to Ounahi, and somebody else did ask that, but it went up, so I missed it. It's just asking, would there be a plan B if Ounahi doesn't sign? I would hope they would. I think they've definitely got a list. Yeah, I would say that they've definitely got a list, and there will be another backup. But I can see why this guy is the number one target. So I completely get the patience game, but at the same time, we can't be waiting till the end of the transfer deadline day. We're not going to be playing that game again. And make sure Radrazani keeps his phone off, okay? Please, please. But yeah, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Just going to go through a couple more comments just before I sign off. Please hit a like if you haven't done so already. Best way to support the channel. And there's over 450 of you. Join me. Thank you so much. And of course, subscribe. I mean, I prefer watching than subscribe. I mean, these numbers are just. But somebody did explain to me something about the whole subscription thing. So, fair enough. Fair enough. Oh yeah. Tom. Let me just put this up as well because I had also said the same thing. So shout out to Tom here, and I think Tom said this on a comment. So forgive me, Tom. By the way, for people wondering why Marsh hasn't started Verba yet, he hasn't played in a month and is not match fit. So yeah, so that's probably the reason why he didn't start against Villa. That's the only reason I could think of because we do need to reshuffle that defense around. Hopefully he gets the full game against Cardiff. I'll be back tomorrow for a preview of that. Of course, yeah, I'll be back tomorrow for a preview of that game. So hopefully he gets to start there, and then we start him against Brentford. Let's just get him right in. There's a lot of Seko Fofana shouts. There's a lot of Seko Fofana. I don't think we're in for him. I wish we were, but we're not in for him. I don't think so. Lewis, you got to play the YouTube algorithm. I know it. The thing is, Lewis, it changes all the time. All the time. The only thing that YouTubers ever know is that likes definitely help. That's the only thing that you ever know. It changes every so often. So it's all mad. It is absolutely mad. Let's have a look. And just on Fofana, Lance going really well. Will be hard to get him. Yeah, I mean, it's not. With all due respect to league, because listen, I do love that league, but they're not cash rich. So if you do put in a decent enough offer, you can get a player. But I don't think he's going to be going this January anyway. I don't see that happening for a player of his quality. He's not in a precarious position in the league. He's in a decent place. I don't know if everyone's been watching Ren lately. They've got some good youngsters. Some good youngsters. And but yeah. Let me just chill. Let me just chill before I say a name and it just starts circulating out there. But yeah, listen, people, I'm going to leave it there. And thank you for joining me. Please hit the like, subscribe, and drop your comments below. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow for the Leeds Cardiff preview. It's Cardiff, yeah, of course it is. Right, enjoy the rest of your evening and day, night, wherever you are in the world. Peace out, people.